For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or cheap games on any platform, use the referral link in the description. It'll take you to g2a.com. Use the promo code CHES over there and you'll get yourself 3% cash back. For all No Identity merchandise, hats, hoodies and t-shirts, follow the link in the description down below to the No Identity Fan Fibre website. Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the Foot Champions Super Team experiment. Of course, we're testing out to see basically how good, or more accurately, how average I am at the game. We went 11 and 11 in a previous Foot Champions weekend with my Road to Glory teams. This time we're going through with a rather expensive team. The main team costs about £3 million, 3 million coins, sorry, should I say. And this rotation side that you see me playing with now, this BPL team, or Premier League team, sorry, I keep calling it the BPL. It's been months, literally like 6 months, and I still call it the BPL. And we actually did quite well with both sides, actually. I enjoyed both teams and was doing quite well with both teams here on this Saturday. Yesterday you saw Friday's games, which we went 5 and 5 in, 5 wins, 5 defeats, which was very, very average. Today we do a little bit better, thankfully. These are Saturday's games. We played 10 on the Friday, 20 on the Saturday, and then the remaining 10 on Sunday evening before editing all this footage together. Sunday evening, or late into Monday morning, I suppose it was, and commentating everything here on Monday afternoon. So we win the first game of the day with a 3-0 victory. In fact, he rage quit at half-time, didn't even have a chance on goal. So that gave me a lot of confidence, actually, heading into the rest of the day, that I could actually perhaps do quite well. You can see here, coming up against a Premier League side, it doesn't look that threatening, although the defence is very solid, again, Smalling and Butland. And to be fair, the pace up top was pretty threatening as well, with Jamie Vardy in a right forward role with Daniel Sturridge there, as well as Yannick Bolasie in a front three in a 4-3-2-1. It's a formation that I've tried previously and not really gotten on with. Diego Costa, though, draws a good save out the keeper there. Eden Hazard twists and turns. Watching N'Golo Kante in the middle drive into that space, not picked up by David Luiz. Really nicely found by the midfield, well, by the man out wide as well, sorry, should I say. And we gave ourselves a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately, the pace proved to be good enough for him in the end, although I have to say it was perhaps a mistake by Butland there. Really shouldn't be beaten his near post in such a manner. Very, very disappointed to have conceded an equaliser there, to be completely honest. Then Daniel Sturridge cuts inside here, and then a lovely slotted through ball through to Memphis Depay, who buries that. So that's 2-1 to him now. He's completely turned it around. He brought Depay and Sterling off the bench. So as if he didn't have enough pace in his team already, unfortunately, he was able to find even more off the bench. However, moving forward, Diego Costa, you see the runner Yaya Toure, they twist and turn, get it back to, and Yaya Toure fires this back level with practically the last kick of the game. So into extra time we go, and you can see it's him on the attack here in the 116th minute. Martial to Vardy, Vardy with a shot, and an awkward save. Really strange technique from Butland that, oh shock, palms it straight to the on-waiting Daniel Sturridge there, puts it into the back of the net. I don't know about you guys, but it's moments like that that make the whole scripting and the game deciding what wants to happen, regardless of your inputs argument, kind of make a little bit more sense. In what situation would Butland have made a save in that manner and palmed it straight to the Sturridge? I don't think in many other circumstances that would have happened, but because it was the 117th minute, he just kind of squatted and thrust his palms at it rather than just making a normal save. I'm not going to harp on about it, I'll move on, shall I? Rather than just whinging about potential scripting, even though EA completely deny it. Anyway, free kick. Figo scored a great free kick in yesterday's episode, and guess what? Luis Figo scores a great free kick again. He's so good from dead ball situations like that, Luis Figo. So we're 1-1 so far today, so 6-6 overall. Dennis Bergkamp pushing into the box here. He is superb. 2-0 up now in the 31st minute. 30th minute? This is 30-27, so 31st minute. Pushing down the right-hand side again there with Dennis Bergkamp into Gonzalo Higuain. Thought about poking it through, decided against it, and then played it back here to Brozovic before Bergkamp and Higuain link up. And how's that for a finesse from outside the box? Again, Gonzalo Higuain's 96 finishing, proving to be the difference for me here. 3-0 up. And I can't remember whether he rage quit. Yes, he rage quit in the 37th minute, as you can see there. So back-to-back wins. Was that back-to-back wins? No, we won, then lost, then won again. So 7 wins and 6 defeats so far, and it would be nice to go on a little bit of a winning run now, wouldn't it? Although, come up against Inform Andre Gray and Player of the Month Hazard up top with Dele Alli Sanchez behind them. 2 SBC cards in there as well. Inform and N'Golo Kante in central midfield, which is bad enough coming up against, or frustrating enough coming up against normal N'Golo and Kante, let alone Inform N'Golo. So I wasn't expecting this to be an easy game whatsoever. Alessandro Florenzi, though, drives inside here, pulls it into the middle. Higuain, 1-0 1-0 after 38 minutes. The clock is a little bit blurry in my top left. I apologise if I keep getting the minutes wrong, but we're 1-0 up basically just after the half hour. Jordi Alba into the box again, pulling it back. Gonzalo Higuain will slot it home. Off the chest of the defender, but still into the back of the net it went. And then he rage quit at half-time as well. So nicely done. Well done. That's saving me time throughout the day. I probably wouldn't have been able to get 20 games played throughout the Saturday had we not had as many rage quits as we ended up having. But that's 8 wins now and 6 defeats. Moves us up into Silver 3. We are making progress, finally. So 14 games played to this point. Like we say, 8 wins, 6 defeats. Starting to get away from that win one, lose one scenario, which we've found ourselves in throughout FUT Champions so far. This is actually a very nice La Liga side. As you can see, Benzema in form. Oriana on the right-hand side, first in form. Isco at centre mid. Of course, he's got an 87 rated in form on the right-hand side of midfield, but he went with the pace of Oriana rather. Well, I suppose he could have gone with Iago Aspas. Second in form, Iago Aspas is the right side of midfielder, isn't he? But went with Oriana in the end, the Chilean. And Kevin De Bruyne racing through here. Thought it was going to go inside, didn't. Went around the outside using that 4-star weak foot. That was a 1-0 lead in the 78th minute. And in the end, that was a 1-0 win. Just a single goal in that one, although I felt pretty comfortable in that game all told. You can see Weezertron's not having much possession, and we had twice as many chances as him. So that's 9 and 6 now. What a nice little run of wins here. 3 wins in a row. Moving into a game to potentially make it 4 wins in a row. Musa and Vardy up top. I think this was the first time I came up against that particular pairing all in one go. And then Bailly, Smalling and in form Winston Reid with Begovic in goal. Asmir Begovic actually proved to be worse for me playing against him, or kind of I struggled to score against him even more than I did against Jack Butland, to be fair, in this weekend's worth of games. Musa just tears me apart there. It's Thibaut Courtois' debut, as you can see, top left. I did replace my loan Butland once his contracts ran out with Thibaut Courtois. Henrik Mkhitaryan, in form Henrik Mkhitaryan, pulls that back there. Diego Costa, great footwork, and he buries it to make it 1-1. Back on level terms. Can we get ourselves in front? The answer would be probably no, because that one through ball completely split my defensive line. I raged on Twitter. I raged on Twitter all weekend, to be fair, but that was one of the things that I raged about, just how that one through ball completely broke my entire defensive line. Musa racing away, but 2 minutes into the second half, we were able to get ourselves back on level terms. Cesar Azpilicueta, of all people, the right back, popping up with the goal. And as we move now into the final 20 minutes or so, Kevin De Bruyne sets up Diego Costa, tidily slots it home, and we take ourselves a 3-2 lead. So after starting by going in front and then falling behind, we ended up winning the game regardless. So despite not being able to get him a clean sheet on debut, Thibaut Courtois, we did at least get him a victory. So that's 10 and 6 now, a 4-win streak. Eden Hazard, Martial and Player of the Month Heung-min Son in a front three for him there. So no out-and-out strikers by default. Not in form, SBC Emre Can in there with N'Golo Kante. And again, the lone Petit that a number of people were using this weekend. Sergio Ramos, though, gave me a 1-0 lead here, drilling it hard and low. Very nicely done. Unfortunately, again, he had the Bailly Smalling Butland situation. But, I mean, I know I harp on about that, but I suppose I was using Smalling myself and Butland for a little while, so I guess it's a little bit hypocritical of me to complain about it too much. But Brozovic gives us a 2-0 lead here after 33 minutes. He then pulled himself a goal back with a penalty in the last minute. I saved it initially with Buffon, but it fell straight back to Eden Hazard, so we were able to get a 2-1 victory from that. That's 11 and 6 now, a 5-game win streak. Things are definitely going much better today. Up next, another pacey front three. In form Balassi this time around with Daniel Sturridge and Willian on the right-hand side. In form Azpilicueta alongside David Luiz at centre-back. So it was nice to play against a couple of different players with in form Marcos Alonso at left-back as well. Thibaut Courtois in goal. Nathaniel Klein at right-back. Still playing with the super team here in this one with Higuain and Dennis Bergkamp up top. And they link up together beautifully there to give us a 1-0 lead after just 3 minutes. However, this guy was particularly good at the game. We were, however, going to be able to get ourselves a 2-0 lead. Slightly fortunate in how it came about. Lovely footwork from Bergkamp though to turn, and he pile drived it into the top corner to give us a 2-0 lead. You can see me trying to build here through the middle again, but he wins it back. Moussa Dembele across there to Willian. In fact, it may have been SBC Moussa Dembele, not Emre Can, I apologise, in his midfield, but he pulls on back there with N'Golo Kante. No, it was Yannick Balassi with the 2-1 goal to pull it back. Here, though, classic counter-attack going one way, then the other, and then obviously going to play it back across and then send the defender and bring it back again. Higuain holds off David Luiz, slots it home. 3-1 lead here in the 53rd minute, so despite him pulling one back fairly sharpish after half-time, we were able to get ourselves back in front, or extend our lead again. And Luis Figo driving into the box. Bergkamp, that's 4-1. We really were hitting our stride now. This is going to be 7 wins in a row. Luis Figo with a jink inside, pulling it across into Brozovic. Slightly fortunate, I have to be honest, with how it pops free to Higuain, but we make it 5-1 in the 60th minute, or 68th minute, can't quite see. And Dennis Bergkamp going to play this one through again. We're going to make it 6-1. Slightly cautious that was actually offside for Higuain, but never mind. He scored 4 in this one, I think, and that gave us a 6-1 win, which moves us now on to 12-6, so a 6-game win streak. Pretty happy with how my Saturday was going to this point. Then we came up against this team with SBC, Thomas Muller, Alaba and Boateng in a triangle there on the left-hand side, with then a full Premier League side on the other side. But he's actually got in-form Leighton Baines at right-back, the left-back card. So not really too sure why. Could quite easily have gone with in-form Seamus Coleman, but went with the in-form Leighton Baines. In-form Theo Walcott was my main threat, though, in this one, as you can see, top right, the right forward card, with Hunter on as well. As if Theo Walcott isn't fast enough, why do you need to put a Hunter card on him? But this guy's tactic, mainly, throughout the majority of the game, was give the ball to Theo Walcott and sprint. But this one actually came through the middle, so fair play to him. After 2 minutes, he took the lead and then got a penalty just before half-time and buried that very nicely into top left-hand corner. Perhaps that is why Leighton Baines was in his team, because of his ability from a set-piece. Into the second half we go, and unfortunately the destruction continued. We were on a great run, and unfortunately our run came to a rather emphatic end here. Nemanja Matic, dab, came to give him a 3-0 lead here after we tried to get ourselves back in it here through Dennis Bergkamp, no, not Dennis Bergkamp, Kevin De Bruyne, as I was playing the rotation Premier League side here. But unfortunately, it was a 3-1 defeat. So we went on a 6-win streak, to then come to a defeat in a game that was actually pretty evenly contested. But never mind, you win some, you lose some. There are ups and downs in FUT Champions. We just had a massive up on the huge run of wins we went on. Now was the aim to try and avoid going on a run of defeats like I did in yesterday's episode. We went on yesterday, we started 2 defeats, 4 wins, and then 2 defeats again. So I streak. I'll go on a win streak and then a loss streak. But we go 1-0 up here through Kevin De Bruyne quite nicely with a header, and then we are actually going to make it 2-0 here just 10 minutes into the second half. You can see working the ball about nicely. Diego Costa slots through Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to get his second and our second of the game, and that gave us a rage quit victory there with about half an hour to go, I think. It may even have been straight after that goal. I can't quite remember what the time on the clock was, but a 2-0 win, so at least we didn't go on a defeat streak. We actually turned it straight back around and got ourselves a victory. So that's 13-7 now for overall for the day, or for the weekend to this point, and 8-2, I think, for the day. 8-2 for the day. Front line of Wilfried Zaha. I don't know why Wilfried Zaha has an Ivory Coast badge next to him there. Has he changed? You might need to correct me in the comments, but has Wilfried Zaha changed his nationality? I'm not sure. He gets slightly lucky, well, not slightly lucky, very lucky with how that bounces back off the post in extra time to give him a 1-0 lead there. And then as I pushed forward, trying to get myself an equaliser, we nearly found ourselves caught on the counter-attack a number of times, but thankfully Isco came off the bench and slots that home nicely to pull us back level with 4 minutes to go in the game. And then we went to penalties. Luis Figo steps up here to not score my 4th, to mean that it's 3-3 after 4 penalties each. Fernandinho steps up for him, and Gianluigi Buffon pops in a save, so all I had to do now was score and win. It was Casemiro, the CDM, but he duly obliged to power it straight down the middle. So that's 14-7, I think, or 14-8. It was definitely 14, as you can see there, silver one. I think it's 14-7. It might be 14-8, actually. Might be 14-8 for the day, but regardless, coming up against Wilfried. Yeah, see, there's Wilfried Zaha's inform is an English card there. So what? It may have just been a visual glitch. It may have just been a visual glitch, but he's got Yaya Toure at cam, Gundogan and N'Golo Kante there in the middle, Smalling and Bailly at the back, who I just never do well against. But how's that for a tackle from Vincent Kompany? Pretty perfect as far as I'm concerned, but no, the referee deemed it a foul and gave him a penalty. Yaya Toure puts it down the right-hand side. I dove the right way, dove over the top of the ball, and takes a 1-0 lead. Brilliant. So, after one great tackle, another stunning tackle in the box, perfectly timed, gets the ball. No, referee points to the spot, sent N'Golo Kante off for a second yellow card. I dive the right way again, and again over the top of the ball. He gets a 2-0 win in the last few moments with 2 dodgy penalties. You win some, you lose some, and sometimes you get BS'd, and that was one of the BS games. So that makes it 14-9, I think, for the weekend so far. The first Team of the Year card we've come up against so far in this weekend. Luis Suarez up top, inform Rafinha on the right-hand side, with Team of the Group stage Dries Mertens on the left. Legend Jari Litmanen in midfield, with second in form, actually, I think that is, isn't it? Raja Nangolan in midfield. And yes, it's a very, very good side, to be fair. Good header from Inform Marek Hamsik to give him a 1-0 lead after a few moments before half-time. Dennis Bergkamp into Luis Figo here, trying to get ourselves an equaliser if we possibly can in the second half. Nice little bit of footwork there from Gonzalo Higuain, and a really good left-footed finish, actually, to give us an equaliser with less than half an hour to go. Gonzalo Higuain's equaliser, though, unfortunately wasn't going to be enough for us to get the victory here. That dropped straight down to Rafinha, into Raja Nangolan, nicely through to Dries Mertens, tidily slotted home in off the post. That makes it 14-10? Question mark? 14-9, 14-10. You can see here, Dybala up top, another very, very good side. Dybala and Cuadrado with the strong link, and Pjanic in there as well with a strong link to both Dybala and Asamoah, which meant he could then go on the left-hand side with the Bundesliga team. Although I'm not really too sure why he used Wendell at left-back. I would have personally chosen Schmelzer over Wendell, but never mind. Bergkamp and Figo here linking up really nicely. We're going to get in the box, and Figo gives us a 1-0 lead after 23 minutes or so. Pushing further forward, though, and he's going to play the ball over the top here to Entep, as he's brought him on off the bench. And a lovely ball into Dybala, who just glides it into the back of the net with a first-time volley on his right-hand side. Never mind, back to level terms. Into penalties we go. Unfortunately, he scored all of his 4, and I missed one of them. So if he scores here, which he does, he wins the game. So another defeat, unfortunately. So I was on a little bit of a downward streak here, downward trend. So what I did, I stopped, had a bit of a break, went and ate some dinner. So you can see 14 wins and 8 defeats. So no, 14 wins and 10 defeats so far with 24 games to go. So we're 14-10. As we head into this one with Musa and SBC, Jermaine Defoe up top. Player of the month, Eden Hazard on the left. SBC, Nasser Chadli. You don't see that often at the cam roll with Leroy Sané out wide right. And then a really nice, actually, defence there with Fernandinho linking up with the Brazilian Miranda, of course. Alexandro on the left-hand side at left-back. And then Barzali, who was actually really, really strong for him at the back. Really struggled against Barzali, but Kevin De Bruyne gave us a 1-0 lead here. Just before the half-hour mark, and then we were able to extend the lead into the second half. Put Raheem Sterling on, as you saw there, and Isco to try and freshen things up in this game. Isco came off the bench in an earlier game and pulled us back, and this time he comes off the bench to seal the victory. 2-0, and we get another, I was going to say 3 points. We get another win to add to our tally, so 15-10 now. Completely dominated that game, as you saw there briefly from the stats. 16 shots, 12 on target. Inform Ben Yedder up top, who's a player that I very, very much enjoy. Lacazette, Ben Arfa, nice team this actually, very nice team. Coquelin there on the left-hand side of midfield with N'Golo Kante there in the middle. And then surprised that you went with Kurt Zouma and Bakary Sagna at the back, to be completely honest. But this was just a one-goal game. And unfortunately, the one goal came in frustrating circumstances. Played onside there, Lacazette, by the defender that found himself in the goal mouth. Good save, but fell straight to Hatem Ben Arfa. So, brilliant. And this was the state of the stats in that game. You may have seen me raging about this on Twitter as well. He had Asmir Begovic in goal, who was phenomenal in this game. 16 saves. I haven't been so frustrated by a goalkeeper, I think, ever in the history of my Ultimate Team experiences over the past 8 years. That was an unbelievable performance from Asmir Begovic there, to be completely honest. Coming up against a decent team again in this one, although he's got Andy Carroll and Inform Giroud up top, so I didn't feel, I'll be honest, I didn't feel too threatened by his front line. But this guy clearly knew how to play with those two as a pairing. Scored the first goal here with Carroll squaring it to Olivier Giroud. Now, you might want to keep an eye on the score, or the goal scorers, because Giroud pops up with a second here with a header. As you might expect, Olivier Giroud does score a number of headers, but lovely turn here, and then, well, thwack, I think is the word. 3-0, a first-half hat-trick for Olivier Giroud. I could not deal with the Frenchman. That's all 4 for Inform Olivier Giroud. I was going out of my mind playing against Olivier Giroud there. We lost heavily 4-0. It's been a while since I received a hiding like that, so I was hoping to bounce back immediately if possible. That made it 14-12, I think, for the weekend, or 14-11. Might be 14-12. You can see here another Premier League side, Inform Andre Gray and Daniel Sturridge up top with Felipe Coutinho actually in behind. You don't play against Coutinho that often. I don't know why. Perhaps it's because his strength isn't that high. But Gonzalo Higuain with a great strike to give us a 1-0 lead after 35 minutes or so. He can score all sorts of goals, Gonzalo Higuain, and I just simply cannot recommend him enough. Daniel Sturridge though breaks in here, and a lovely finish from him on his left-hand side to slot him back on level terms at 1-1. Into the second half we go though. Ball played around the corner here to Ryan Giggs. You can see us on the attack. Giggs going to try and turn inside the defender. Does well and then thwacks that into the far side netting. Thwack apparently seems to be one of my favourite words today for some reason. That gave us a 2-1 lead just after half time. And we were going to extend it as we pushed deeper into the second half. Figure there going one way then the other. I could not shake Azpilicueta to find the space for a cross. So in the end had to play it on the floor here into Alessandro Florenzi. Slightly lucky with how it drops back to him. But nothing lucky about Dennis Bergkamp's strike. Put his foot straight through it, powers it into the back of the net. That gave us a 3-1 lead, and then Higuain finished it off in the last minutes with a 4-1 win. So I'm going from losing 4-0 to winning 4-1. My streak, or kind of streaky gameplay that we went on earlier on in the episode, where we kind of like lost a couple and then went on, was it a 7-game win streak? I was hoping to build on that again here, but we were coming towards the end of the day, and this was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, when I was playing these games, to be honest. So perhaps it's no real surprise that I'm winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one, because I was clearly tired at this point. This is going to be the 18th game of the day. Sturridge again up top with inform Andre Gray and inform Dele Alli in behind. Diego Costa though plays well, I thought he was going to play a 1-2 with Yaya Toure there, to be completely honest. That's what I would have done in that situation had I been replaying it, but never mind. I scored anyway, so clearly I knew what I was doing at the time. Kevin De Bruyne firing it into the back of the net, and that was a 1-0 game. So that moved us on to 16, was it? 16 and... I want to say 16 and 12 for the day, although I'm not entirely too sure. We dominated that game, though. I think that was a rage quit, actually, at 1-0 after like half an hour. Not really too sure why he would have done that. But Ben Yedder up top with Anthony Martial on the right-hand side of midfield as a left forward. Ben Arthur there at Cam with Kante. Coutinho again. As soon as I say, oh, you don't come up against Coutinho that often. We come up against him in like 2 out of 3 games. But starting off on the front foot, Eden Hazard in here, played down the left-hand side. Pulls that back again. I'd be particularly frustrated had that have been the other way around with him scoring that sort of goal against me. So I can't really say too much against that, can I? N'Golo Kante, though, takes this free kick short. Nicely worked into Felipe Coutinho, who buries that into the top right-hand corner. Very good finish from Felipe, who I'm yet to use this year. So maybe I'll try and build a side with Felipe Coutinho in it. Anthony Martial, though, slotted him 2-1 in front just after the hour mark. And unfortunately, that was going to be our final defeat and final game of the Saturday. So ending on 17 wins and 13 defeats, I think. 17 and 13. So went 5 and 5 in Friday's games, went 12 and 8 in Saturday's games in total to give us 17 wins and 13 defeats all told, and 10 matches remaining. And I can tell you now I did even better. Well, I say even better. Obviously 12 and 8 isn't that anywhere near impressive, but went 5 and 5 on the first day, 12 and 8 on the second day, so a extra 4 wins to the amount of losses, and we did an even better win percentage in tomorrow's episode as well. So we end fairly strong, hoping to aim for Gold 1, of course, which was 25 wins. So I needed 8 wins from my remaining 10 games. Could we make Gold 1? We'll find out in tomorrow's episode. But that's going to be all for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, I very much appreciate the support on all of these Ultimate Team videos. I'm trying to build up an Ultimate Team audience over the course of the rest of the FIFA 17 year, so I can start with a FUT series at the beginning of FIFA 18 and hopefully kind of build the channel from there alongside the career mode content. But obviously, we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But for now, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be 2 other career mode videos that went up earlier on today, so check the channel for those. But for now, I'll see you next time.